G'day, Aaron, the air plant maniac. Just wanting to share another little process I do quite regularly. We're going to take some pups off of a big mother plant. So this is a big mother Ionantha clone that's come up in the collection. It's stunning, and it flowered, and the flower happened 18 months ago, and it's still this much plant left. You can tell that I've already taken pups from the base there where there's some leaves burnt out and some leaves removed. So those pups that I took on the first round are laid out here on the table, and some of them are already sort of taking shape and looking to be quite fat Ionantha forms, so looks like they're going to be true to their mum. One of the things with Ionanthas and Tillandsias in general is the more pups you take, generally the more you'll generate. So by taking this first round, I've managed to induce more pupping, both low where I've damaged the meristem and up high where it's naturally wanting to pup from this variety. So a couple of ways to take pups. When you're taking them small, I like to glue them onto a little bit of cork. Quite often I secure them with a little bit of very light wire to start with as well. So I'm just going to go through that process now. So I'll take off a couple of leaves from the mother plant around where I want to work, and just be careful because I'll show you underneath these leaves are going to be more growth points for pups to come from. And so if you remove them very gently, you don't knock them off or break them off. But I've got plenty of access there now. I might take this last one here. You can see the nice green stem underneath, still a healthy live plant. So I'll just pop these off, and literally you just get your fingers as low down as you can and squeeze and pull, and look at that, they both jumped off together beautifully. So to show you the base of them, we've got nice little cores on the top of them there, and that's what we're going to be gluing to the cork and get rid of the dead leaves. So the wire, the very light wire, just sort of roughly shape for the plant, make sure it's the right size to get around it and still push into the cork, and then just trim it back to what you need. Very delicate with the little pups, the smaller they are the harder it is. So I just get a bit of wire, jam it into the cork, which is nice and soft and takes it pretty well. So you end up with a bit of a loop on your cork. And then your little baby can slide in there. And you try and line it up so that the core of the plant is going to tilt this to catch a couple of leaves. The core of the plant is nice and close to the cork, and I might just tighten this wire up a little bit now. Oh. And if we just twist that back into position. Oh. And a little bit fiddly, but then I can put a dot of glue between the plant and the cork. That's literally it, just a little dot of glue. If you really want to, you can use that same very light wire just to shape it up. Make sure it's got nice contact. And then between that little bit of a wire girdle and the glue, you've taken a very small pup. Generally, my advice to people when taking pups is you have to wait until the pup is about a third of the size of the mother, which would be something similar to what these two are. And that is a more, foolproof process. But if you want to get adventurous, you can certainly take them much, much smaller. And I'll just show you now quickly. We'll take one of these bigger pups off as well. I won't glue this to cork, I'm just going to mount this straight to wire like his brothers over here. So I'm just gently pulling off the lower leaves until I can see the bum of the pup, which is right there. So you can see it nice and exposed. I'll leave those other leaves on so the mother can stay intact for as long as possible and give me as long as possible with pups. And the same thing there, I'll just work my fingers down the sides, slowly pull it down and backwards, and that's come away with a little bit of the stem from the mother, which is absolutely optimal. So if you've got roots like that, you're pretty much 99% guaranteed this plant will survive. If you don't get roots like that, if you get a broken tip, I recommend just leaving them out on a table to dry out for 4 to 5 days before you mount them. Just let them sort of heal over and scar over there on the bum. But that one there is ready to go on a wire mount, so I'll do that as well. I'll just unwind a little bit of this aluminium wire. This is 2mm or 2.5mm. I use anything from 1.5 up to 3.5, depending on the size of the plant or what I'm doing. So I make a little loop in the bottom first, and then turn it around. We're going to pick about 2 or 3 fingers up from that loop, and we're going to take a 90-degree bend, and then a 90-degree in the other direction, and just keep working that around, and that'll give you your loop. You can put the root or the base of the plant, and this can be expanded out to be that wide if it needs to be to grab a different plant. Otherwise you can just get the roots tucked through, get your pliers, and gently just squeeze down until you collect just the roots in there. And then you can give it a couple of twirls. Make sure that you tuck it into a couple of the lower leaves, and that way in a bad windstorm it won't jump out or go anywhere. This is still a bit loose on the base here, so I'm just going to clamp down real tight on that roots area. Alright, so that's now got the plant nice and secure. It's not moving at all. The plant itself has got room to grow, and you can simply just adjust this wire out as it needs more room. But for the moment that's nice and snug. A little bit of room is good. And now I'll just do the top loop around. And grab one of my handy pre-made hooks in the same grade, with the fishing swivel attached. The swivels do a few different things. They let the sun hit the plant on all sides, they move around in the wind. They also stop it from tangling up too much. When you find that you've got strings of these plants all hanging off each other, that they swing around each other and then unswing pretty nicely because they're not too fixed with the swivels all over the place. And that's the 2 types of pup that I've taken from the one mother plant. This big giant mum iron anther here. Still got one left on it that I'll take later on. But you can see the size of the stem and get the size of the plant. It was, you know, bigger than the size of my palm when it was going. And now about 18 months on, we've got a whole next generation laid out here on the table ready to go. So thanks for watching. I'll give you some more Tillandsia tips later on. Cheers.